before being named president of basketball operations. He's also spent time with the New Orleans Hornets organization and more than 10 years with the Washington Wizards. To tip off today's press conference, we'll get opening statements from the Timberwolves ownership group with Glenn Taylor, Mark Laurie, and Alex Rodriguez, and then we'll hear from Tim Connelly before opening it up to questions. We'll start with Glenn Taylor. Glenn.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. We're really excited not only about today, but about our future. We think we've done some pretty wonderful things here. We've put together a bunch of young men that play very competitively in the league now, and we want to make sure we back that up with support, and Tim will be providing the leadership of that support. So I would just again say, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I echo Glenn's comments. We couldn't be more excited to welcome you to the team. We've just been on a search now for a while, and we're looking for someone that had and aligned with the core values of this team, and also one of the most respected NBA executives, and we feel like there's only one that matches and ticks both those boxes, and so we couldn't be happier to have you here, and we feel grateful and fortunate. Thank you.
Yeah, and I echo exactly what Glenn and Mark said. I mean, the goal all along is to have built a world-class organization, one of the most respected organizations in all of sports, which goes from being the fittest, most disciplined, most competitive, grittiest. And I think, with the core values that we have, I think Tim fits the bill perfectly, not only for this team, but for this great town.
A little overwhelmed. I had such a wonderful 9 years in Denver, and when the conversation started with Glenn and Becky and Mark and Alex and Ethan, you're excited, you're confused, you're scared, but as those conversations developed and they took on more substance, you realize that this place has an unbelievably special core. I'm here not to mess it up. This team is on the right direction. I think Finchie's a special coach. Sach and his crew of guys done such a wonderful job making this such an attractive destination. It was a blast watching you guys play. It wasn't a blast watching us play against you guys. I'm not here without the unbelievable support of my ex-colleagues and bosses, specifically the Kroenke family, Michael Malone, Calvin Booth. I could name a million guys, but this is a culmination of all their hard work. It's not something that I got here individually. But when you spend time in the room with these guys and you're in this beautiful building and you're around town and you sense the excitement that the T-Wolves have created, it's a special, special place. And I think, we're going to work as hard as possible to push the envelope a bit, and hopefully we have some new franchise records. We keep building off of where we are. And thank you for being so open and welcome to my family. Thank you for being so transparent in what we're trying to accomplish, and just thank you for taking a chance.
Thank you, Tim. We'll open it up to questions. As a reminder, this is being televised, so please wait until a microphone is passed to you by one of the members of the Timberwolves PR department, and then identify yourself with your name and your media affiliation before asking your question. John?
John Krasinski with The Athletic. Tim, you were in a great place in Denver. You built a really great team there. What do you think, what kind of went through the process as you kind of mulled over this opportunity, and what ultimately led you to believe that this was the right decision for you and your family?
It was unbelievably challenging because, as you mentioned, we're leaving a place that is so special. It's where we had both our children, countless colleagues. I've learned so much from Josh and Stan, so it wasn't a seamless or easy decision. But what was consistent with these guys up here, and again, Ethan and Ryan, Sach, Finchie, they were so direct and so honest about their aspirations, and the aggression of which they talked about how they can achieve these goals was exciting. The first time we sat down in Mark's palatial condo in New York City, it was just kind of there was no real intent. It would be fun to talk to these guys about hoops, and then you could sense their passion, you could sense their vision, And pretty quickly, the excitement became contagious. And as this thing took on a more real scope, you dug in a bit more and saw how much they have, both on the court, off the court. And I think it's a team and organization that its best days are in front of us. And hopefully, I get out of the way, hope I don't mess it up too much. But there's a real sense here that this place can do something special. And I hope I can play some small role along with people up on the stage.
Jace Frederick with the Pioneer Press. For Alex and Mark, now that you have Tim here and you kind of embark on this relationship with him for years to come, how do you view the influence and role that ownership should have in working alongside Tim with decisions on roster making and personnel?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with core values, and we really believe, Alex and I both, and Glenn as well, and Becky, in really trust and empowerment. And that's really the starting point. And so it's not trust but verify, it's just trust. And we have full confidence and trust in Tim. And he's going to be empowered to build a first-class, world-class organization, full stop.
That's right.
Britt Robson with MinPost. I'm wondering, hang on.
Dane Moore, Blue Wire. Tim, you mentioned pushing the envelope and being aggressive. What does that look like in your mind?
Oh, geez, it'd be, if I gave you the answer, I'd be lying to all you guys. I don't have some well-oiled plan yet. I want to get here and get to know the team, get to know the staff, really understand what allowed for this team to be so successful this year, pick people's brains and how we can try to fill some of those voids that maybe just allowed the team to take that next step. I think it's what this team did is so special this year when you think about how young they are, think about the turnaround they had from last season to this season. I've known Finchy since he was coaching in some random leagues overseas, and he's a guy that his unique and diverse experiences on the bench has allowed him to become one of the best tacticians in the NBA, one of the best communicators in the NBA. So I'll rely on those guys. There's some really bright minds in the front office, and again, if I had the answer right now, it would just be a soundbite because I don't have it.
All right, we'll try this again. Britt Robson with MinPost. You had a season in Denver with Coach Finch. Why did it last only one season, and what was that season like?
Where's Finchy? Am I going to be honest day one, or? Chris was coveted. He was coveted, and the team wisely targeted him, and he went down to New Orleans, did a great job. It was, he had left Denver with wonderful relationships and very, very well thought of in the time we spent together.
Hi, Tim. Joe Schmidt from Channel 5. How are you going to make Minnesota a destination for free agents without having to overpay them?
Again, honesty. I think that the best chance we have to make this a destination city, and we have to be realistic. There's certain players aren't going to want to come to certain parts of the country. There's a reason these coastal cities have a leg up. But what you can help develop and help add credence and definition to is your culture and your organization and the wins and losses. And what we saw last year was a team that was trending in the right direction with full organizational buy-in. You're not going to find a more talented couple of players in the league than what we have in this roster. So hopefully word spreads. Hopefully word spreads. This is where you're going to come and be treated right. We have, I think, a wonderful ownership group that represents a really diverse mindset and approach to it. So our goal is to let the results speak for themselves, and hopefully these players talk. As I mentioned, these guys, when we first had the conversation, I did a lot of homework and background on everyone on this stage, and I hope that as we continue to build winning foundation and develop, this is a place you want to come to win. It's not about the weather. It's not about having some of these flashier markets. We're going to come here to win, to be treated fairly, and have a lot of fun.
Pierre Nugent, Fox 9. Question for Mark and Alex. How wide was the search to find somebody like Tim, and what was it about Tim that ultimately led you to believe that this was the best choice for you guys?
Yeah, Glenn kind of started the process a while ago, And he's been in charge, and Mark and I followed his lead. Obviously, when Tim's name comes up in any conversation, he's coveted by probably all 30 teams, even though there's a couple out there that have, the best of the best. But we put Tim right up there, and the process was smooth. We spoke very quickly. We moved fast when we had to, and Glenn led the way, and we followed.
The Timberwolves just played a very close series with, I'm John Shipley, I'm with the Pioneer Press. Close series with Memphis, a good team. I'm wondering, one, if you would want to share what you think has disallowed this team to continue, and two, how close do you think it is to maybe winning that series?
There's a couple balls here and there that could change the complexion of the series. I also think, when you look at the year on the whole and the years going back to the previous season, the turnaround was so impressive. It was an unbelievably entertaining series. I also think, I don't know if success is always linear. I don't know if we're going to go from here to a championship. I think we have to be realistic about where we are and how we can get better. I think as long as we have world-class people, which we do, and an elite coach, we'll continue to get better. But sitting at home, having a beer, watching that series, there's a couple plays you kind of bemoan because you got Finchie here and Mikey here, and you got Kevin Hansen, and I still talk to Jared and Malik, so I had a rooting interest of guys that I work for and guys I call buddies. But that's more a Chris answer, and he'll figure it out. But I do think we have to be very realistic on what our path looks like and not be scared to forge our own path and not look around and kind of copycat some of the other ways teams might have been successful.
Glenn's John over here. I wonder if you could just discuss a little bit about the process of working with Alex and Mark on this and really identifying that, you wanted to go find someone and then getting this deal all the way across the finish line, what that was like.
Well, we knew that we were going to look at a number of people. I got involved in that and had some other people that are in the business check on other people. Then Tim's name came up. I didn't have him on the list. I thought he was under contract with Denver, so I didn't have him as the first person to contact. But I called the Connelly family and told them, asked them if we were interested in meeting with Tim, would it be okay, and they gave me permission to do that. That sort of started that through him in the group, and that went very well. And as always, I would ask Mark and Alex to get involved. And they set up their own interviews and handled that, came back and said, I think we see the same thing you do, we see a winner. And that's about how it worked out.
And for Alex and Mark too, just in terms of working with Glenn, what did you try to do to try to make this process smooth and get it to where you want it to be?
Yeah, I think just like every decision we've made in the years since we bought into the ownership, Glenn and Becky have been nothing but, batting 1,000. It really, every discussion we've had has come from a place of being super authentic and open, and there's a lot of trust that's been built. And, it feels like there's good diversity of thinking as well, and we feel like we make good decisions together as a group. And just feel really good about the partnership and where we've been and where we're going.
Yeah, and let's see here. Tim and I connected over baseball, actually. He's a huge Baltimore Oriole fan, so he's giving me a hard time about being a Yankee and all of that. But I sensed the guy that just fit our mission and our core values as well as anyone. What I'm most proud of is from ownership to Sachi to Tim now, Finchie, and the great job he's doing to our players. We have kind of one alignment, one mission, one goal. And I thought Tim fit that puzzle beautifully and perfectly. And that was kind of my feedback to both Mark and Glenn and Becky.
Tim, Dave Campbell, Associated Press. You're in a good situation. How difficult was it to leave? Were there some sleepless nights and tough conversations that you had to have?
Yeah, probably an understatement. It's, I wasn't looking for this. It was such a unique opportunity that was presented to me. The last 9 years have been the best 9 years professionally you could ever imagine. The relationships will last. they're not transactional. They're not dependent on what jersey you wear. We're extremely happy. Personally, our kids were both born there, so there was a lot of sleepless nights. And I think as you had those sleepless nights, it makes you dig even deeper internally and be even more introspective and ask yourself, is this something you want to do? It's a leap of faith, certainly. But what led us to this moment is the collective approach of the men and women who kind of talked about what this might look like. When you see the success this team had last year, certainly having a relationship with Chris, knowing you're coming in with a partner you trust, and you know he's as good as anybody in this NBA is relative to the X's and O's. But it wasn't easy. I would be disingenuous to sit up here and say it was easy. But we're excited, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be special on the court. Certainly, we're very excited to get to know the community. We like to be active. We like to really be part of something. We don't want to just come to games and go home. It's a new chapter, a new challenge, and we're fired up.
Hey, Tim, Darren Wolfson from Channel 5. Are you seated here without the equity portion of the equation?
I'm really talking about the contractual negotiations. I barely even understand it, quite frankly. I know the salary cap. I can talk about that extensively, but yeah.
I mean, you're asking about that. Basically, he's on a bonus program, just like a lot of people are. If the team does well, he does better.
That's the first assist of the Timberwolves era.
Kent Youngblood from the start of being here in Minneapolis for Tim. As you kind of settle in here and start looking to move this team forward, I was wondering if you could kind of give an impression of Cat, and whether you see him as kind of a cornerstone of a championship caliber organization, and also maybe if you could speak about how you see Russell's kind of long-term future with this franchise.
I mean, I think Cat is one of the most talented guys in the NBA. He's got a relentless work ethic. He's probably the best shooting big in the NBA. I'm getting to know, I don't know him well. I look forward to getting to know him better. We've talked briefly, but talking to everyone in this building, they speak so highly of his work ethic, how he treats people. His productivity speaks for itself. I think the best thing we can give Cat is stability. He's a guy that's seen a lot of different faces on the sidelines, a lot of different faces in the front office. I think with stability, you'll see a better version of himself. D'Lo had a wonderful year. His big shot making ability allowed this team to win 46 games, and he's a guy that can streak score with the best of them. So I don't know what or how our roster is going to look like on draft night or into free agency, but certainly this team doesn't win 46 games without the contributions of both, and it'll be fun to get to know both guys.
Hey, Tim, what's the process like in terms of coming into a team with a lot of established people already in place, coaching staff, front office, and maybe looking to bring in some of your own people as well? How do you see yourself just kind of going about that process of adapting to here and getting some people around that are familiar faces as well?
Again, I've been super lucky that I'm a pretty social guy on the road, so I know a lot of these guys. We've shared a meal, shared too many drinks. So I want to get to know who's here, and I have a pretty good sense. We don't know until you're in the same room with those people. Again, I don't have all the answers. It's going to be a collaborative effort. I believe in colleagues. I don't believe in employees. So when you're talking about Sach and Zarko and Manny, you know a lot of these guys. So it makes the transition a bit easier. And this is a difficult time to join a team. The draft prep is in full swing. I've been largely absent for a myriad of reasons. So I kind of want to be a fly on the wall. I feel pretty confident. I really like to scout. I like to watch games, so it's one of my favorite times as we approach next week. So I can't wait to get in some heated, spirited debates about who we should take, what should we do with the pick. I would we'll probably add some new faces, some guys that I have familiarity with, some women I have familiarity with as well. Don't know what that will look like, but I'm not joining a team that's broken. This is a team that's trending in the right direction, that's made a ton of really, really smart decisions. Even most recently extending Chris, getting Pat Beverly on the additional 1 year. So I'm not here to impede progress. I'm here to promote it, and I'm hopeful that I can learn a ton from the people in the building, and hopefully I can add a little bit of my knowledge to what's already a very strong core of people.
Tim, along those same lines, you come in and obviously the people who are already working here have had time with these guys and these players and opinions and evaluations of them. How do you balance the info you might gather from others versus maybe wanting to make your own evaluations of players as you take a deeper dive on them?
I think that's the fun part. I don't think, we're not engineers. If you misplace this beam, the building falls. There's no exact science in basketball. We could pick the right player, it might not be the right time. We could, we use this term quite often, and you guys will get sick of it. Informed mistakes. We can't be governed by fear. We have to be aggressive. We have to know everything about these players and who will fit with Finchy and the guys on the court. But I don't have all the answers, so I can't wait to hear what they think. I love talking hoops. I love being challenged. I enjoy the inexact nature of the draft. I think I told Mark the night I met him, I said, if you talk to anyone about this role and they tell you they have all the answers, they're the wrong people. If they tell you that they're batting 1,000 in the draft, they're the wrong people. We're going to make a lot of mistakes, but hopefully they're informed and they're well-intentioned and they're collaborative. And in that room, we're arguing like crazy. And when the door opens, it's a we pick, it's a we selection, it's a we trade. So I think that's a really, really fun part. It's the part I'm most looking forward to.
All right, thank you for all your questions. We'll now have a photo opportunity with Glenn, Mark, Alex, and Tim. That'll conclude today's press conference. Thank you to Glenn Taylor, Mark Laurie, Alex Rodriguez, and Tim Connelly. Chris Finch will be available to the media, be located over here in front of the backdrop, just to the right of the stage. Thanks to everyone for joining us today.